Episode 1. Back on the grind, guys. Account reviews. There's 39 this time around. I have it locked up. If you guys aren't already aware, I went ahead and locked up my channel because we have like 39 reviews that I gotta go through. And by the time I get to yours, it'll probably be like, if you're at the end, it'll probably take like 2 or 3 months for me to get to it. I'm gonna try to get through as much as possible at a relatively good pace, but the last time I did like 45, and it took like 4 or 5 months. It took a very long time. So I'm gonna try to bust through as much as possible this time around to speed things up. Alright, so that being said, let's go ahead and get things started. So this person right here wants to remain anonymous. I think it's very clear with the name, or the user ID at least blocked out, that they want to remain anonymous. Unless your name is anonymous, then who knows about that. Anyways, this person, so I went through ahead and looked through their ships. They started somewhere after Ulrich and sometime before Kronstadt, because they have Kronstadt, but they don't have Ulrich. And as you can tell by the greetings right here, it says January 17th, 2022. So that's probably when they started. They started 1 month after Ulrich's event. So unfortunately, they couldn't get it, but it's still good because they started at a good time, since you can still access a lot of other URs that are available, and another one coming up in about 2 weeks. So stat wise, 86 for about 9 months is a very good pacing. When I did my Ironman, I was like 89 after like 7 months, but I've been playing like relatively like kinda a lot, not really, but like kinda a lot. So this is the kind of a progression I expect from someone who's been playing for about 8 months or so. So that is average across the board. Very, very nice. Alright, going down the list, we have the ships available. So judging by this, we have some 125s on the board. Now, 125 for Z23 is a very interesting choice. I think she might be your favorite ship. I'm going to assume that she is. Going by who you 125 first. Portland 125. Yeah. There's honestly better 125 choices out there, but because these ships are UR, I don't think they cost a lot to 125, so you're kind of good there. The cog arrays for 125ing an elite ship isn't nearly as significant as 125ing a SSR or UR, so I think you're fine there. But in terms of getting value off those 125s, you can definitely do a lot better. But across the board, I know you say I have a question here. I'll answer in a bit. 120s on the significant ships. Vanguard, good choice. Enterprise, good choice. Perseus is fine. Cleveland U, Queen Elizabeth, also kind of whatever. Everything else across the board is okay. And going down the list, you have some other 100s and whatnot. See, here's the thing. If you're doing campaign stuff, because I see you have a lot of ships here, right? Especially PR ships that are already maxed down stars, meaning they're already developer 30. PR ships are a good way to just blast through most content in this game. Most of the PR ships are really good at what they do in campaign and even just like general content. So having those maxed out is really, really good. Since you're pushing through World 13 right now, you're at this farming stages at the game. At this point, what you want to do is you want to work on ships going into the later stages of the game. You're done with the early game right now. You're pushing into the later stages of the game. Z23 Portland are basically early game ships. You don't need them anymore. Those are your starting points. You're done with those. You want to work on the big boy ships now. Vanguard, Enterprise, Perseus. I can't tell how many stars that FDG is. I'm gonna assume it's a 5-star. Get that maxed out. The DDs are fine. The Chinese DDs are okay here. If you want to push for World 14, they're good there. Submarines, definitely work on submarines. Once you get into World 14, they're going to be very, very important right now. So work on those. Don't forget about those. They're very important. Warspite and Nagato. Oh, you have those at 125 as well too. Warspite, I'm not a huge fan of. She can't get the job done up until like 13. I want to use her for 14 though. She's a very lackluster ship. Nagato, always good to have because of that one powerful buff that she has to boost up Shinano and Haku ships. So if you have those two, definitely recommend it. But I don't see Shinano in here, so Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Helena, definitely maxed out Helena. You can't go wrong with that. Definitely a good ship to have maxed out. And then you have a lot of Vanguard ships. You have Kronstadt, max her out. Rune, St. Louis, you don't have to max them out, but they're nice to have maxed out. Other ships in here are whatever. You can max those out if you want to. The other DD, if you want to do 14, that works well. Arc Royal, still a good ship for now, so you can go ahead and max her out as well. Drake, get her developer 30, then she's really good to have. Hal, more or less pretty decent to have if you have if you're locking a lot of battleships. Then she is a good filler for most cases. Cheshire, definitely a good ship to have in World 13. If you're pushing in World 13 like you asked earlier, definitely get her to 120. She's going to help out a lot. Very, very good ship for World 13. Yudachi is actually really good. Get her retrofitted. I don't know if you still can. I think you need her material. I don't know if you can still get that right now, but 120 Yudachi retrofit, very, very good. Akashi, if you have Perseus, you don't need Akashi, so you can ignore that. Everything else, though, you don't have to max out these ships. They're kind of like whatever. Definitely work on submarines, though. Everything else, I'm like, eh. Indomi is nice, but because she's a very niche build ship, she only works really good on like light and medium armor, which is a lot of bosses and stuff nowadays. But I keep it right here, but definitely consider working her in the future. Everything else, though, get them to max developer on PR ships like Monarch is really good, but she has to be developer 30. Everything else, we can ignore all these unless you have waifus or whatever. They can work on those. The bottom of the list we have here, Suzu's okay for World 13, not bad. Sirius, some cases she's really good. Everything else, though, you can't ignore them, but they're nice to have, but you can't ignore those. The big priorities I told you, I listed earlier, are the ones moving into endgame, mid-game, endgame. So having those bossing ships are going to be very, very helpful for you that I listed earlier. I'm not going to talk about them again, but yeah. These are my, okay, what's to work on? I already told you all the ones I recommended. Items here, you chose, is that Gronki? I think that's Gronki, right? I forgot her name, but interesting there. You're saving your cog chips, good. Your cog arrays, I mean, very good. One mistake a lot of people do is when they have enough to cog array a 125, they use it immediately. I hold a couple on hand. Right now I have like 2,000 on hand, but hold a couple on hand because, because you never know when you're in a situation where you have to build a fleet right away to be 125. Endgame content nowadays are going to be really high level, and you want to be as close to the boss level as possible. Otherwise, you're going to take significant amount of damage, and you're going to do less damage as well too. So having a couple on hand is very nice. 1,000 is a really good amount, I'd say. You could probably get like 6 ships, 6 SSRs, and like 4 URs, I think, with this amount. So it's really good. Gold plates, we gotta work on those, but everyone has to work on those. Me too, but we all need to work on gold plates. Make sure you're doing OS every single time it's available. Gold plates are very, very important to have, so get those as much as possible. Cubes here are lackluster. We have a UR event coming up soon, so I hope you're farming up cubes right now because 18 cubes is very, very scary. So yeah, you need to get that up immediately. Plates here, prints here. If you don't really care about the amount, just go ahead and take all these prints and just dump them onto your ships ASAP. The more developer levels they have, the more stats they have, the more abilities they can obtain. It's just better overall. I personally don't use mine until like I have a good amount, so I can like paste them myself to finish them all at once. But if you're a developing player, I just say use them right away because getting the early power boost is going to help you out more than just holding on to prints until you have enough to just 1/3 or a PR 30 like right away. So use them ASAP. Pearl plates here, we gotta work on those, but since you're a relatively newer player, you gotta work. You're gonna have to need a lot of purple plates to begin with. Farm World 12. World 12 is a good map, definitely. You're gonna need a lot of coins soon. Well, you don't because you need cubes, but we have a UR event, so it's a good place to farm there. Otherwise, go to World 11-1 to get pure EXP, so you can do that. Everything else though looks relatively okay. Print amount is lacking, but what can you do about it, right? You haven't been playing that long, so it's understandable. In terms of gear, the rainbow dildos are fine. You got the gold fire control radar, very, very good. Torpedoes, good. Steam catapults, This is a good amount for now. Definitely work on more in the future, but that is a good amount for right now. Everything else though, you have the standard for like basically every gold gear box stuff, which is fine. Gold gear gear is more than enough to get you through most of the campaigns, so you don't have to worry about anything about that, or don't worry too much about that. Do you have white pencils? Okay, white pencils are good. You have white pencils. Definitely work on investing into white pencils, and maybe this fire control radar, get that to +10, and then that's good. You have the rainbow fire control radar, so that's good. But having more fire control radars is very nice. Anti-airs, definitely try to get more anti-airs as possible. I don't know how long you've been doing OS for. I'm assuming you got started like a few months ago, because there's like a level 60 cap or something that you get, your minimum that you need to have before you get into OS. So make sure you do OS, because you can get a lot of good gear from OS. So do that. That is a good heavy cruiser gun. I went ahead and talked about it like a few videos ago. So that is a good gun to use. The BB guns, definitely try to get this to +10 as well too. +10 is good going to World 13. You want to have as much +10 gear as possible, because World 10, or not World 10, World 13 is where you want to start pushing +10 gear. World 12, you can do it just fine with like with +8s. But World 13, the level creep is going to be very, very tight. Especially when you get into 13 or 13.4. You want to have as many +10 gear as possible. Specifically for offensive gear. Like BB guns, planes. You want to have these at +10. Auxiliaries you can have at +8 or whatever. It's not as significant unless it's like these or whatever. But for the most part, you want to have the guns. You want to have the planes at +10 going into World 13. So prioritize those. Main gun plates and aircraft plates are your biggest priorities right now for purple that you want to get. So we'll skip all that for now. You went ahead and maxed out World 12, or cleared out World 12, so that's very good. Fleet technology, we're getting there. Definitely do try to get levels on these, because you get additional stats on maxed out ships, so that's good. In terms of PR3 here, we have well, you have a lot of stuff to work on right now. I think you're developing, who are you developing right now? Champagne, right? So PR3, we're getting there. I know for a newer player, it's a lot to do when it comes to PR grind. So it's understandable here. You're picking the good ships this time around, except Champagne. Wait, hold up. Am I reading this right? Oh no, your Cheshire is maxed out. No, you picked the right ships. So Champagne is okay. If you want to go into like World 14 though, Odin's really good there. So if you want to walk on Odin next, that's fine. PR1, honestly, you can like just null over. It's not like as significant. I know you maxed out St. Louis. way maxed out St. Louis. So here's the thing. You have her at Fate Simulation 5, right? Or you guys can't see it, but you have her at Fate Simulation 5. And you have her over here at level 102. If you don't commit that many prints to one ship, then you might as well max them out. So get St. Louis to 120. All right. So other ships you don't have to worry about that much. Having tanks like Rune is nice, Monarch is nice too, but make sure you're trying to cap these as much as possible. Buy these all the time. Always buy these whenever they're available, because PR1, even having all these ships maxed out, can get you through the campaign very, very easily. So make sure you're always capping out those. I don't know if you can buy PR2 yet. I don't think you can, but whatever about that. In terms of PR2, FDG is nice. Maybe grab Georgia. And if you want to tank Azuma, but you need Prince, so it's not like amazing. Kronstadt's more than enough that you got from a previous event, so you don't worry about Azuma as much. Georgia may be nice to have though. It's not mandatory, but it's nice to have. FDG though, you're like halfway done. You're gonna need more Prince for her. Now Cats here. All right, here goes the Cats part. So this cat right here, I can't tell what the bottom one is. I think it's a rookie summary. So I think that's torpedo stat. 3 lines is fine, especially if you're running a full KMS submarine part. But these 2 lines suck, so ignore those. You want to have at least 4 minimum useful damage lines when it comes to cats. So this one's usable for now, but again, you don't have submarines worked on, so work on those subs, especially when you're under geared. When you're under geared, submarines are more beneficial to have because it covers for damage loss. So work on those subs. Specifically, U96, maybe 81, and I don't think there's any other subs. I think you had the that one sub from the previous event, the whatchamacallit, the Leonardo sub. So just get those 3 to 120 for now if you can, and then just roll with that for submarines for now. Even though Leonardo won't get the buff from the KMS talent from the cat, she'll get it from the last 2, and that's fine. BB cats, this one right here, this one's all over the place, but you can use it if you want. This cat right here, I would not recommend investing into, but if you have nothing better to do or nothing better to invest into, then this cat works out. This lime cat, it's a no. Okay, no. This has 2 damage lines and it has Tireless Warrior, which is okay. But these other 2 lines are like whatever. But for now you can use it. This carrier cat, again, because it's a carrier cat, you want carrier lines. Artillery ace main, get that out of the way. And large cruiser ships, this is, I think that's like the evasion one. That one's awful. So you have just 2 lines, just work with it. The oh god, I forgot her name. The Oscar Flames Aggression, Elite Officer. You can use it, but definitely try to get better stuff. Ace Pilot on Oscar makes no sense, so ignore that. The Rising Star helps out a lot though. More EXP for cats. Sakura, this one also sucks. I wouldn't recommend using this one at all. Ignore that one. DD cats, this one also not a fan of. Get rid of that one. And then the last one here, Miracles, HP. This one's all over the place. Ignore this one as well too. So again, don't work on cats too much. Focus on getting your real ships done too. Whenever you have cat stuffs available, just open them up. You may get a good cat eventually in the future, but cats aren't super significant right now for you. You want to work on just levels and just gear upgrades right now. So plus 10 gear, get 120 ships, specifically 120 ships, and you should be fine. So I told you ships to work on earlier for World 13. Get them to 120. Get the really good ones to 125 if you can. Having a 125 in World 13 is going to help out a lot. A lot. Specifically, get your 125 as your flagship. And a strong damage dealer like Enterprise should be 125. So work on those ships. Get plus 10 gear. Everything else looks fine. Just make sure you're farming all the time. Get those plates, specifically gold plates as well too. Plus 13 gear helps out a lot. So do that. As for the PR stuff, make sure you're buying PR1 prints as much as possible every single time. Get these maxed out because even if they aren't significant ships nowadays, they are still really good to have if you have nothing to work with. Alright. Other seasons, just keep working on them. You'll eventually finish them all out. Just take your time. Eventually they'll all be completed. As for cats, just ignore them all. So I hope I answered all your questions out there. World 13, as of right now for you, I would get more levels. It is possible, but definitely do get more levels because your Vanguard right now is very shaky. World 13 ships, you're going to need a lot of anti-air. So you want anti-air ships. Helena, Charybdis is a good option. Cheshire, definitely get Cheshire up to 120. 100% get Cheshire up to 120. And just any other anti-air ships. Swiftsure, Monty, good options if you want to invest into them. And just whatever anti-air. So good luck with that. Just work on your ships, get them 120, get them plus 10 gear, and you're good to go. So that is the end of the first account review. I talked quite a lot. So hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, I'm not taking requests as of right now, but if you guys want to, just stay tuned. You can join my Discord, and probably by December, I'll probably open it back up again, and I'll go ahead and do more in the future. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, see you in the next video.